I don't think people have a fear of failure. I think they're more fearful of what a failure actually means and what it means to them. And to some people, a failure means I'm not good enough, or it means I'm not as good as I thought I was. So let's look at both of these individually. So let's start with the second one. I'm not as good as I thought I was. So that leads me to believe someone thinks they should be amazing at something right from the beginning. And they've probably been told by people throughout their life, oh, you're so good. Oh, you're so smart, which makes them immediately jump to thinking that intelligence is something that they automatically have. And they have to be able to show that to everyone. So if they fail, then maybe they weren't as intelligent as they thought. Now, I've had experience with this myself because I was an actor in movies and television for over 20 years. And one of the toughest things for me to figure out was that I actually needed to practice and actually needed to put forth some effort because people would tell me all the time how amazing I was and how talented I was and blah, 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 blah. But the problem is when push came to shove, I wasn't booking auditions that I was going on. And I would go on audition after audition and nothing would happen. And I would sit there saying, what's the problem? Like, I have the talent, but it turns out I wasn't as good as I thought I was, or at least as everyone was telling me I was. And that started really creating a type of atmosphere where I didn't want to try anymore. And I want to make sure that that's not the case for you. Which brings me to our second point of maybe I'm not good enough. And this is something that makes people not even try right off the bat, is because they automatically think they're not good enough. So why bother trying? Why bother taking any effort toward what they want to do? And so in our 90-day experiment that we have going on right now, where we're taking action toward a big goal, I don't want that idea of I'm not good enough to come up for you. But let's bring it up right now if it is an issue, if it's hanging out there and you're thinking for some reason you're not good enough to be able to achieve what it is you want to do. What makes you think you're not good enough? What makes you think that you're not good enough to succeed? Why do you think that? Is it someone told you that you weren't good enough? Or is it that maybe you saw other people, you saw your heroes, and you started comparing where you are right now to where they are? And you thought, there's no way that I can compete with that. I'm guilty of this. I used to think, oh my gosh, this person, I used to think that I had to be the best. Like there was no second place. And this is something that's ingrained into our psyche from a very young age. There's a lot of people out there that say there's no second place. You have to be the best at everything. If you're not the best, if you're not first place, then you're no good. And that thought creates a lot of tension. It creates the feeling that if I can't be first place, if I don't think that I can be first place, I'm not going to try. There are people that will pull back their effort because they think if I can't be number one, and clearly this person is better than me, then I'm not even going to bother trying because number two is crap. Number two is just nothing. And they don't bother taking that first step. And I'm telling you right now, you can't get any better if you're not taking any action toward where it is you want to be. You have to put forth the effort in order to get there. Now, you don't have to do it overnight. It doesn't have to be a success immediately within 3 days of trying something. No. Effort takes time. Effort is what you put in every single day because I want you to focus on doing the actions, not the outcome. The outcome is the wrong thing to focus on. It's what so many people focus on, and that's not the right thing. I would always focus on being this mega superstar. I would always focus on just, did I get the role or did I get passed over for it? But I never thought about, are you doing the things each day that are going to get you closer to that goal? Because each day that you practice, each day that you show up and you put in the effort is one day that you're closer to achieving where you want to be. But if you don't put in that effort thinking, I just want to show up and just do the thing, I don't want to have to practice it, because practice means that I'm not as good as I thought I was. So I don't want to have to do that. I just want to show up and do the thing. And I guarantee you this, if all you think of is you just want to show up and just do what you do without having to practice it at all, you will constantly be overtaken by people that have less talent than you, but are willing to put in more effort than you are. So here's a question for you. What do you think people that are automatically great or seem like they became great overnight, what do you envision them looking like when they're doing the thing that they do best, that they're most well known for? What does that look like to you? So take somebody that you really admire right now and imagine, what does it look like when they're doing their thing? Do you see them there just alone by themselves, just coming up with amazing ideas after amazing idea? Do you see them just beaming this knowledge, this genius, and just being automatically gifted? Or do you see them working hard at what it is that they do? Now, I just recently saw Guardians of the Galaxy 3. So this is going to date this video a little bit, but I just recently saw that. It's still in theaters as of the time of this recording. Great movie if you haven't seen it. But what do you think happened that made that movie? Like, do you see just one person? Do you see just the cast of the movie? Or did you stay and watch the credits and watch the cutscenes at the end and you saw how many people went into making this one movie? It wasn't just the people you saw. There were far more people behind the camera doing something every single day to make that movie possible. There were the writers. There were all the makeup artists. There were all the CGI people. There were the director, the camera people, the lighting people, the sound guys, all of the people putting the food out for everyone, all of the people doing the costuming, pulling everything into the trailers, pulling it back out. There was a huge production of everybody giving their best every single day of that production to make that, I think it's a 3-hour movie, possible. To make that movie possible required all of those people. Now, Dr. Carol Dweck, we talked about her before, she gave an instance of Thomas Edison. So everybody imagines Thomas Edison, right? Creator of the light bulb. And she says, what do you think he looked like creating the light bulb? And she poses this question to different people and she gets different answers of, well, he's a scientist and he's sitting there and he's working in his workshop and he's testing different things and seeing what works and what doesn't work. And boom, one day it just hits him like a bolt of lightning and he creates the light bulb. And now we have light bulbs ever since. And saying that was not it at all. In fact, Thomas Edison, if you think you only see one person there working by himself, not it at all. Thomas Edison had around, from what she says, 60 plus scientists working with him on the invention of the light bulb. And the invention of the light bulb didn't just come about. It wasn't like, haha, I created the light bulb. It was actually a series of a ton of other different inventions, all combined together. So it's like starting with one particular idea that you have and having different ideas blossom from the first idea. The light bulb was not the intended invention. That's just what happened to come about from thousands of other experiments, all trying to create something different than a light bulb. So imagine that. Everybody seems to think that it was just one guy creating one thing, but it wasn't that at all. And the unfortunate thing is, a lot of times when we hear these stories of genius people, of people coming up with these fantastical inventions and just genius ideas, and we think it was that one guy who just all of a sudden had an idea, and that idea came to fruition. And it's not that at all. The truth is, there were a lot of other people behind that idea that had to be there to make it come about. There was a lot of time and a lot of effort put in over the course of years to create that one genius idea. So if you're thinking that it's just you, that you're the only person, that you're the only one that has to come up with this genius idea right off the bat, realize you couldn't be further from the truth. You have potential and genius within you, and you have to work at it in order to bring that out. In order to tap your potential requires effort, because the potential is there, but to tap it requires effort, requires a lot of effort. So think about your potential as gold in a mine, and it's all packed behind all sorts of dirt and rocks, and it takes time and effort for you to chip away at all that dirt and all that rock, and then you see a little glimmer of potential, and you mine that out, and then nothing, and then you're chipping away again at the dirt and the rocks, and you're getting just dirtied up in the process, and then you see another glimmer of your potential, and you dig that out again, and then all of a sudden there's nothing again, and you're digging out more rocks and more dirt, and you're getting dirty and nasty and smelly, and you're looking to find that one vein of gold that you know is there. You have to find it. This is tapping your potential because it's already there, but you've got to dig it out through the effort, through constantly knowing that as long as you just keep going, as long as you just keep chipping away and you learn a little bit more each time, just like I'm learning right now making these videos for you. You learn a little bit each time, and then all of a sudden, those learnings compound on one another. They build on top, one after the other, until all of a sudden, your genius is felt. You look back 10 years from now and realize all of those little things that you did day after day after day all added up to where you are. So I have one last question for you as we wrap up. For our 90-day experiment that we're working on, and currently, if you've been watching from the very, very beginning, we're on day 13 of this. So, how committed are you to achieving your result? How committed are you to learning more about yourself, to learn more about getting toward your result? Because we may or may not make it to our achievement that we want in 90 days. We might not. We're going to see where we end up. But the key here is taking the action every single day, learning a little bit more every single day, focusing on getting better and getting smarter, which is what we can control, rather than worried about, am I good enough to achieve this outcome? Am I going to fail? Realize failure isn't the question. The answer to that is yes, we will. That's how we learn. And it's okay. It's okay for you to fail. In fact, I encourage you to do it. The more you fail throughout this next 90 days, the better off you're going to be. Those who are going to achieve the most over this 90-day experiment are going to be the ones that fail the most. Take that to heart, because when you fail, that should be a reason to celebrate, because you learned something new. Now, the people that are going to lose in this challenge, yes, there's a winner and a loser. The people that are going to lose are the ones that say, I have to be able to already accomplish everything I want to do right now. I don't want to practice. I don't want to fail. I don't want to make dumb mistakes and have to learn from them. I want to be enough right now, and I expect myself to already be good enough to achieve it. And if you're already good enough to achieve it, then you're not expanding yourself. You're not pushing yourself. You're not tapping any potential if you can already achieve what you want. That's the wrong prize. The winners are the ones that learn more. The winners are the ones that fail the most throughout our 90-day experiment. And at the end of 90 days, have this huge amount of learning that they can take with them and push forward for another 90 days with all new information, with a huge plethora of knowledge that they've gained throughout this repeated exposure. And that, my friends, that is what's going to get you to where you want to be. Because we don't have to be snipers on this. We do have to be directionally accurate. Because as long as we keep taking steps in the right direction, we're going to get there eventually. I guarantee it. So, what are you waiting for? If you haven't failed yet today, get out there. Try something new. Fail at it. I dare you. I double dare you. Get out there and fail, learn something new, and become better and stronger for it. So what are you waiting for? Get out there and take action now.